come off of play action. So these are things that I recognize in the formation to give me an idea what play is coming at us. Okay, the second piece of recognizing the formation is so we can align properly the third phase of a play. If I'm a third corner and I've got a receiver that's aligned to the field and he's aligned wide on the top of the numbers, I'm going to line myself inside to help protect on a deep post. If I've got a receiver to the field playing cover 3 and he's aligned within 3 yards of the hash, I'm going to put myself outside that guy. He's nearer our post safety, and I want to play my deep third responsibility on the outside edge of the player in this case. So I'm recognizing the formation to get myself aligned properly in order to execute and do my job. The first 3 phases of a play, I remind you and bring to your attention that the ball hasn't been snapped. So 60% of the play is taking place before the offense snaps the ball and begins to execute a block or a route. More offensive success is a result of poor defensive alignment than possibly anything else that could take place. So going into a game, going through a scouting report, and his players are better than your players, you better give yourself every chance by making sure your kids are aligned right on a consistent basis, then executing the next piece. Keys, run and pass keys. Everybody has their beliefs, and as an inside linebacker coach, there's two primary beliefs. One is to underkey, to key the guards through the guards to the backfield, or to key the triangle. And other people key the back and feel those underneath guys. So there's different sets of keys, and you have what you believe in. Just make sure it's getting emphasized and it's getting executed. And with the best way to do that is be in a coaching position where you can see your kids' eyes, so you know they are where they're supposed to be, where you want them to be, and they're reading their keys on a consistent basis. And the 5th phase of a play is then to execute, to do their job, to take care of the B gap, to cup the football, to set the edge, to take care of the deep third and stay on top of receivers as they work their way downfield. I'm not going to go into this with great detail. I just want to point it out from a secondary perspective and point it out from a linebacker perspective. I think it's important that you give your kids things like this that they can hang their hat on, and they know these are their priorities as a position group. And if they execute these priorities, the defense, the whole unit has a chance for success. And this has always been my back end piece. I say mine. This is another piece I got from Larry Coyer back in 1991, and I've used it with every secondary I've coached. And if these numbers after game days occurred come out as 2 or less in how we played in the secondary, if you're putting those kinds of numbers up, you're playing great defensive football. And that's just with the back 4 guys or 5 guys based on a nickel package. So as a secondary, we want to get the ball on the ground. We don't want to give up deep balls or X plays, big plays. And when I say deep balls here, I'm talking about run and pass. And we had parameters for those. They've changed over the years as the offenses have developed and rules have changed to favor the offense. But whatever those numbers are, 20-yard pass, 10-yard run, 25 for either of them, a quarter of the football field. Have it set up where it's realistic to your game, and the kids know what that number is that they got to eliminate. No coverage busts. Can't have one side of the ball playing thirds and the other side playing halves and voiding the zone. And then cup the ball. It's just my way of saying contain the football, keeping the ball inside and in front of you. As a linebacker coach, I operate with a big 3 instead of the big 4, and that is sure tackling, no mental busts, and then fit properly. If I should be taking it on with my left shoulder, I damn sure want to be doing that, and not taking it on with my right shoulder and spilling it to nobody. If I'm working fast to the edge because of a fast flow play. I want to make sure I'm doing that and not getting stuck inside and letting the ball get on our perimeter. So these are the three things that we emphasize at the University of Arizona from an inside linebacker position room. Some secondary axioms that I believe in. Never take an inside fake. And never take an inside fake. So I'm back there as a quarter safety, and the quarterback has play action into the B gap. I'm not stepping up on that inside fake. I'm holding my depth to execute my responsibility. Play the ball, not the man. Okay, we cover the receiver, we cover the man, but once I cover the man, then I want to get my eyes back around and play the ball. I think we're all the victim of broadcasters and commentators, and they talk about whether it be a linebacker or a secondary guy, how he read the quarterback's eyes the whole time. That's great on those plays where he got that interception, but they don't ever talk about the other percentage of plays where the guy's watching the quarterback's eyes and the receiver has worked his way away from him, and they throw the ball and they complete it for a 15, 18, 25-yard gain down the field. If I am in a man coverage, or if I'm in a progressive zone type of coverage where I'm responsible for a receiver that's working up the field, I want to see him, I want to cover him, then I want to get my eyes back to the ball. Now, if I'm in a pure zone coverage, thundercloud kicking me out. If I'm in a pure zone coverage, then I am with eyes that are back on the quarterback because I'm playing a true area of the field. I'm not responsible for a man or a man within my zone. In getting that accomplished, you do get more eyes on the ball, and you get more opportunities for turnovers and plays on the football. All right, jump down here. That last axiom that we want to emphasize is a deep defender never breaks on the short arm action of a quarterback. So as a half safety, as a third corner, as a post safety, when that quarterback jerks that front arm and he drops that elbow down or he drops the shoulder, I'm not responding to that action. I'm responding to that front hand coming off of the football. That's what I'm responding to as a deep defender as far as the passing game is concerned. Some things I think to be a great defensive back. It starts with a stance, and I talk about numbers over knees and knees over feet. Numbers over knees and knees over feet. When I'm at the side of a guy, that's what I want to see. I don't want, there's only one Deion Sanders, bending at the waist and having his numbers and shoulder pads way out over grass. That doesn't work very well for non-Hall of Famers. And I want to stand to the side and be able to draw a line that goes through their numbers, through their knees, and down to the feet. Okay, their eyes need to be in the proper location, and they got to be able to backpedal. If they're going to be a great defensive back, they got to be able to backpedal. I think a lot of people now play with their hips open and cross over and run, but I think to be a great defensive back, you got to be able to backpedal and stay square and work efficiently forward and backwards. Movement, okay? We start with our back pedal, and how we work that in practice is what we call a line pedal. All right, so I start practice again. This film is going to be from all over the place, but we're going to cover the techniques and the drills that we're talking about. This is just a line pedal. This is how we start individual drills when I coach the defensive backs. And there's a number of reasons for this. I want the muscles to wake up. So when we start the defensive back drills, we're going to go right into a pedal, and I want the muscles to say, okay, this is what I do as a defensive back. This is a position I got to get in. If we just concentrate on these first two guys, okay, the guy to the left, the guy upfield, okay, let me get back to this guy right here. He's in a great stance. He's in a great position as he moves. The numbers are over his knees and the knees are over his feet, and he's snapping the pedal from his knees down, moving back. If we look to the guy that's down low, okay, you can see his chest forward. And if you just look at those two move, you can see the efficiency in the guy up top, okay, and what I believe is a lack of efficiency in the guy here at the bottom. He's gonna, if he gets a curl or if he gets a dig, he's in good shape. His weight's forward, he's gonna put a foot in the ground, he's gonna go. But if his cushion gets ate up and he's got to open his hip up and throw his elbow and cover the post, he's not gonna do that as well because of that body position. Okay, this is a drill. I call it gizzard. From the first gentleman I worked for, a guy by the name of Fred Bile, who's passed from cancer. But this is a drill, 1989, when before I knew what a hip flexor was. It's designed to stretch and strengthen the hip flexor muscles as a DB that I'm using play after play after play as I roll my hips open and put a foot in the ground and break out of it, especially during training camp or all day 7-on-7s, and the players that end up with that ace bandage wrapped around their waist and their groin and so forth are because the hip flexors haven't been properly taken care of. So again, we'll focus on the first guy on this side because he does a great job with it. We won't have to look at anybody else. I want that knee to go to the sky. So as he opens up, okay, the knee's going to the sky, the fallen leg is coming around, and we want the hips to roll open all the way. We're going to just go both directions. So I'll take him back, and there he is starting out left and then right, and the leg is breaking off. So see if I can't stop it. Okay, there's a look at it, okay? When I talk about the leg breaking off, that's what I want. I don't want the foot going up like this. I don't want it straight. I want the leg to break off. It's the knee I want to go to the sky, and I want to swing that around. So we'll just work down right and left, come back left and right. We're getting 2 swings with both legs, and we do this every single day that we're working out there physically. First thing they got to understand is this is not a technique. This is not a zone turn. This is not what you're going to do when you're covering a down the field route. This is simply a stretch and strengthening exercise for your hip flexors. All right, back pedal progression. There are 4 phases of it in my estimation. I'll give you a second to write it down, but then I want to move forward to the video so you can see it, and I can coach off of that, okay? Control phase, okay? And this is a piece where some people play with their hips open and they slide or shuffle or whatever your term is for it. But it's the first phase where I'm moving at a controlled rate of speed and I'm figuring out whether we got to run or we got to pass, and what kind of pass is it? Is it a drop back pass? Is it an RPO pass? Is it a hot pass? What I refer to as the quick game is a hot pass. And my next level of speed is dictated by what I see in this control phase. The second phase of a back pedal is a true speed pedal. I'm going from the control movement to pedaling as fast as I can to help me secure the upfield shoulder as long as I can. And I'll talk about the components of the pedal as we get into it. The next phase is the zone turn. The receiver has ate up my cushion. A general rule of thumb would be 3 yards from me, but it varies based on who that DB is, okay? As a DB, my cushion was 5 yards because I was very unathletic and needed to get my hips open sooner so I could run. I had the great fortune of coaching Darrell Rivas, and his cushion was about 1 yard. He could wait before the guy got into him before he had to get his hips open. I think it's important that you recognize that with your kids and coach them accordingly, instead of purely black and white, that everybody's getting themselves open at 3 yards, but it's a good place to start until you discover what that is. If the route continues vertical and he eats up the rest of the cushion, then we want to make sure we're completely now opening our hips up and turning and running fully with the receiver towards the goal line. Okay, I want to talk about fundamental pieces of it. I want to talk about efficient pieces of it as we go here. This is back in my pit days. All right, so here's the control phase. I'm simply telling them, ready, ready, and then I'm starting with my hand movement there. I try to start as many defensive drills with movements rather than cadence. I want them to know we're getting ready to start with a cadence, but then I want the actual drill to start off a movement just like it does in a game. You see these guys both rolling into it, their butts drop and they slide back. I don't like that. That's poor coaching by me. I should have made sure they were in a great numbers over knees, knees over feet stance before I started this movement and pushed them back, okay? This cat here, very efficient player. Probably a 4.7 guy, and I'm going to talk about him multiple times in this. A great college player who, when his college career was done, became a flag football player at the local park. This guy right here, a converted offensive player that played in the National Football League for about 3, 4, 5 years, but at this point in his career, transitioning from offense, he's learning the defensive fundamentals. So as we look at these two, you see the guy up top, okay, leading with his butt. He's using his arms. His numbers are over his knees are over his feet. He's got a nice controlled back pedal from the knees down. Okay, the guy nearest us, his chest is forward. His steps aren't going back very far, and he's about ready to get his weight back on his heels and roll himself over. So components of the back pedal that I want to emphasize that you can watch as we go throughout. First thing is, I want the kids to lead with their butt, okay, to help emphasize that. I'll stand behind them, put my hands on their waist, indicate like there's a lasso wrapped around them right there, and then I will pull them back so they can feel the butt roll back and understand what it feels like to lead with the butt, not your shoulder blades, okay? We pedal from the knee down. So lead with the butt, pedal from the knee down. I want arm movement. There's multiple ways you can do that. You can pound nails with your hand. You can drive the elbows back just like you would when you're running forward. And lastly, we want to scrape the grass right off, but I want to reach back and gain ground as I'm doing that. Okay, so control phase, they're just nice and easy pedaling, and they're reading whether it's run or pass at this point. All right, coming back, okay? Focusing on me as the coach, you can see two movements. The first one is getting them started with control. Then the second hand gesture is getting them into the speed pedal. They need to understand what they're seeing with their eyes during this. The quarterback is taking the ball. There's no handoff that's taking place, and his eyes are looking down the field. So I got a drop back pass, and that's what they're transitioning in. The primary thing that I'm looking for as they increase their speed is the pad level doesn't rise, okay? I don't want the pads to go up. I don't want them to go down when they enter this speed phase. The pad level should stay the same as they transition from control to speed right there. Next phase, okay? We'll go back to the efficiency of these two players. Their control, their speed, and right there, okay, they're transitioning into a zone turn. Their cushion has been ate up, and there's a threat this receiver's about ready to run by them, so we want to get into a zone turn. First thing I'll point out is their eyes are where they need to be. The receiver is still in front of them. So as we open up the hips, I don't want my eyes rolling this way. The game is still up here. The second thing I will point out, okay, is when they get in this position where the foot is crossed over, I want to see that hip bone right there. I don't want to see the crack of their ass. I don't want their hips all the way rolled open, because as soon as he gets my hips open, that's when the curl, that's when the comeback, that's when the dig are going to get executed, okay? Not necessarily on time at a yardage level, but when they get my hips to roll open. So hips, hip bone on the line of scrimmage on the receiver, eyes still forward. I'll go back and we'll look at the efficiency of these two. They're pedaling at the same location. But as they open, you see the young man up top get his foot all the way open, okay, where the player nearest us, okay, takes that step where he gets it set right there. And he's forced to do what I call a skip. Right there, you can see that little skip. And the efficiency of the young man up top extends him by a full yard. We all know that's a big difference when it comes to coverage and what you're trying to get accomplished. So I want to emphasize the importance of efficiency in what you're teaching and what you're getting out of your kids, because in reality, these are the two athletes that we're dealing with right there. And at this point in their career, the guy up top, who's 3/10 slower, was a much more efficient defensive back. The last phase then is to zone turn and turn and run. And you can see the head go from looking at the receiver to his cushion getting ate up the rest of the way, and now he's got to turn and run. Here's how I've changed this drill from the 2000s to where we are now. Once the eyes went this way, and as you remember me saying, we covered the man, now I want to play the ball. So I'll have them run for a few steps with their eyes here, then I'll have them get their eyes back as they continue to run, but get their eyes back to the quarterback and be able to locate the ball, find the ball, and play the ball. Once we get a guy covered, I emphatically teach to locate the ball and play the ball, because if you're going to get a break from the official, you better have your eyes back in that position to do that. All right, so some looks at it, okay? This is up top, okay? Right here is where we're looking. Control phase into a speed phase. You can see it. You can see the rapidness of the arm movement and the feet movement as he gains more ground. He's got an excellent pedal here. You can see the pump of the arms. You can see the butt leading the way. You can see the pedal from the knees down. You can see him scraping the top of the grass right off, yet taking big steps to gain ground. His cushion gets broke. He gets his hips open. His eyes are still on the receiver, and his hip bone is back towards the line of scrimmage. Okay, and then he's able to utilize what I call his tool right there and slow the receiver down as his eyes come back to locate the ball and play the ball. This is a great picture of taking a back pedal progression to the field and what I call off-man coverage. Coverage we'd use in zero coverage, playing man. Coverage we'd use in quarters coverage. Progression coverage when I'm responsible for the man in my zone in a man type of way. It's a good look at it. If we all can't take this bit of film and show what just took place and show the phases of the back pedal and the drills that took place within it, then you're wasting your kids' time in the work that you're getting done, and you're not gaining the credibility, in my opinion, that you need to be an effective coach. So continue to point out drills in the snaps, the positive snaps that are taking place on the field. Just another look at it. Moving on. Okay, too far. I'm going to move past this drill just because of time and move on to the next one. This is just a hot drill. We played enough off coverage, and most people do, that you're going to get a hot pass, three-step game, quick game, and want to be able to react to it. So you better drill it if you're going to get what you want out of it. Okay, partner weave drill. I've done it. I've done a lot of it where I took that DB and pedaled him here and pedaled him here and pedaled him here and did that with a ball in my hand, or did that by swinging my arms and so forth. I realized I wasn't getting it done efficiently. I wasn't getting it done how it was needed to be done on the field. So any weave type of work I did, I started doing with the receiver that created it. There's two types of leverages that I got to maintain. I got to maintain a vertical leverage, so I got to work my pedal, and I got to work a horizontal leverage so the receiver doesn't get away from me. So the purpose of this drill is to maintain those two leverages. The receiver's got to work with you. He's got to make this guy move. And we'll get some of that out of these, and I'll work till I get it. So the receiver right there, he's coming off the numbers, and he's starting to work to the inside. And that DB right there, you can see it. He pushes off the left foot, and he starts to work inside. So he's maintaining the inside leverage that he started with, but he's doing it off a body, not off of a ball or hand reaction. At the same time, this receiver's pushing him up the field, so he's got to work that back pedal harder until now, and his cushion gets broke, and he ends up in a good position up the field. We'll work somebody here that gets a little bit more movement. This particular DB has chose to start with outside leverage. The receiver makes a hard cut away, and he makes a decision that I can't work my pedal. He's getting away from me too quick, and I can't weave my pedal and stay in the relationship I need. So I got to get my hips open and run to close and maintain that leverage. So they win. They learn when they can do one and when they have to do the other. Okay, this receiver does a nice job of pushing even harder to the inside. The DB's working that pedal hard. Okay, the receiver squares back up on him. He squares back up his pedal. Cushion gets broke. And then he's got to execute a center field turn to maintain both that vertical and horizontal leverage that we talked about. To do this, I work the guys down with the field one way and then bring the other guy back this way, so we get reps in an expeditious manner. Look at this. Okay. Right here is where we're looking. I think we got a better view from the inside. So there you can see number 4, receiver stemming him to the inside. He pushes off the left foot hard, maintains the inside leverage. Then when the route is broken off and he can't work the pedal anymore, he puts a foot in the ground and he comes down and he's right there on the upfield shoulder. I'll find it here. Okay, receiver here and DB on the hash. He's starting with inside leverage. Gets himself open too soon, especially with the athlete that's coming at him. Then the receiver works back inside because his hips are open. He can't pedal this. We don't want to open to the receiver. It's going to take too much time. So he executes that center field turn that you just saw in the drill and ends up in a good upfield shoulder leverage position. All right, keep moving on here to give you some more drills. All right, how we change direction. How I change direction with the guys is defensive backs, okay? W drill, I'll get right to the film and coach off of it. All right, I do it in the form of 3 cones. Cone here, cone here, cone here, okay? Here's what we're operating off of. Again, I used to work with my hands and a ball in the hands and all that, but I want them operating off of a receiver. So their eyes are on this guy. They're seeing him run his route, and then they're seeing him stutter and cut his route. And that's when they are changing direction. So to get multiple breaks in this drill, the first one, we'll work a speed pedal, okay, and we'll drive. The second one, we'll start in a speed pedal, they'll zone turn on their own, and then they'll drive and they'll finish through this cone. We can finish here with a tackle on an agile. We can do a scoop and score. I can throw them a ball so I can get multiple 2 pieces to this drill. To get, that's all driving forward with my eyes and my chest. I can put the coach down here running and work their chest open this direction and then work speed turns to come back. So any type of change of direction drill that we want to work in this W3 cones in a 10-yard space, we can do. And there should be a little distance in between these two because you're going to come out quicker from a square pedal than you were from a zone turn operation. When they change direction, okay, I want it to be bam, bam. I want them to put their brake foot in the ground, bam, right there. And then I want the drive foot coming forward, and I want to eat up that distance from where I brake to that cone. I don't want them putting on the brakes early. I want them getting hard into that cone before they settle down in a stance and wait for the movement of the coach to start to run again. So let's just look at this player here. I'll coach the inefficiency piece in the purple jersey. You can see where his foot's gone, okay? Whenever we brake, I talk about the cylinder. The cylinder is this right here. And when we brake, I want that foot in that cylinder. When the foot gets out here, it gets slanted. I can't bend like a shock absorber, and I get on the edge of my shoe, and now I'm playing on a sheet of ice instead of utilizing all the cleats that are in the bottom of that shoe. Multiple ways coming back and forth, okay? So now we're looking up here. He's going to work his back pedal progression, and then he's going to roll right into a W drill, just like you saw number 4 when we were working the partner weave. He's control pedal, okay, never gets out of it, sees the receiver brake, brake foot, drive foot in the ground, and driving the upfield shoulder, okay, making a play and getting a ball punched out of there. Okay, both corners. This one out of staying in the speed pedal. Nope. First one was speed pedal. This one is his own turn. So this is the second break in the W drill. They both got their hips open, which is the same position they got into on the second break in that W drill. Now they're putting their foot in the ground and coming back and eating up that receiver. Again, I can't emphasize enough. The more you can show drills on the field, the more credibility you have with the kids. Jim, are you on there with me?
Yeah, we're good, Coach.
Would you rather I keep going at this point, or stop and see if we have any questions?
Well, let me check the chat. I think the chat there's only one question right now. I'll let you know in a minute. Why don't you keep going, and then we'll get some questions later.
Perfect. Okay, the W drill men, I do that on 2 work days of the week, and then I do this box drill the other day. Coaching linebackers, I do this box drill with them also. So let me set it up for you, okay? We got 4 cones. Basically, it's a 10 by 10 box. It's truly a 10 by 9 box because I set the top cones at the top of the numbers, which are 9 yards from the sideline. I'm going to give them a ready, and then I'm going to say feet. They're going to fire their feet. The first movement, they're going to pedal. From there, I'm going to point to one of the 4 cones. They are always going to open up their chest to me as they work to the cone. They're always going to keep their eyes on me as they work in their direction. We're not trying to get to the cone. We're just trying to run in the direction that we're pointing as fast as we possibly can until I point to another cone. Then we're going to open up the hips and the chest, and we're going to keep the eyes on the coach and run as fast as we can in the other direction. Okay, pedal, I point forward, bam. Okay, there's a W drill like break, a change of direction forward, and they're running as fast as they can, not anticipating when the next turn is going to come. Okay, there it goes, bam. You can see eyes on me and chest to me as they run in that direction. Okay, now it's to their back right, foot goes in the ground, elbows throw open, hips get open, and they're running fast in that direction before we change them again. Okay, at that point, one got tired. Okay, you can see him rise up. It's a little bit of an ass kicker drill. and they're going to get a good burn in it. I usually do it twice. The first time I hold them longer. The second time I hold them short. And we're coming out here on this particular day. We're working a ball drill in the middle of it. Same drill, different look. All right. I'm going to get a lot more detailed here with man, and that's going to hear me pass. So I'm just going to swing back and let's get that one question, Jim, and maybe that'll produce some more as we get started.
Okay, Coach. Let me see. When do you like your DBs to look back for the ball in phase?
Yep, yeah, and I failed to finish that thought as I was in. That's my dang screen cut out on me. So cover the man, play the ball. Cover the man, play the ball. And the first, when they hear that, at our level, your level, etc., when they hear that, they feel like they need to get shoulder to shoulder on that receiver or be hip to hip to have him covered before they then look for the ball and give themselves an opportunity to play the ball. That's not true. When the timing to look back is if I'm 5 yards off a receiver, let's say, and he makes a post cut, and I cut with him, and my angle is right where it needs to be. I'm working to his upfield shoulder position. He's run his route. I've made my break. I'm in the right angle to cover the route. That's when you want him to look back for the ball. They don't need to get to the receiver. Once the receiver's made his cut, and I've matched that cut, and I'm on the right path to going to where he's going, that's when we coach them to look for the football.
Good. Thanks, Coach. Let's see, we got another one. Coach Sanders, Brandon Sanders, how you doing, sir? Hey, Coach Sanders has a question. What brakes do you prefer, T-step or bicycle?
I call it a V-step, but I'll refer to it as both, and certainly in clinic talks. Let me, I don't know how much, not really. Trying to stand up and demonstrate where you can see me. The full T-step, I'll move a little to one. Here, T-step, and I get that toe where it's pointing towards the sideline, and this toe where it's pointing towards the line of scrimmage, okay? I really, really stress that hip flexor. So I don't want to get that far with it. So when we were talking about that gizzard drill and countering the problems that DBs have with that, we talk in terms of a V-step. So if this is my hand and my toes here towards the line of the scrimmage, I want that other foot to be like this, okay? I want it in the ground, and I want all the cleats on that shoe in the ground with it. If I get it here, too much stress on the hip. So I want it to be a V-step, but it is brake foot and drive foot, and we're gone from where we are at. I don't know if you caught my giggle. I can't stand the bicycle brake and bicycle change of direction. I don't understand the philosophy behind running in place and not going anywhere. And I don't mean anything disrespectful. I just don't. And if I take two DBs and put them side by side, and I got 10 bicycle guys and I got 10 V-step brake guys, the V-step brake guys are going to win 9 out of 10 times. And I can say that with confidence because I've tested it. One guy is really, really, really efficient at it because he's a really, really good player. And he's quicker out of his bicycle brake than this guy is out of a bam, bam, a V-step brake coming out of his change of direction. So emphatically a V-step break, change of direction over a bicycle break.
All right, sounds good. Let me see what we got. How's another one? Would you rather prefer your DB staying in his back pedal longer than opening the gate?
Very much so. I'm going to play everything in front of me more efficiently from a square position. If you remember going back to the W drill, when we watched, when we got two guys out there at the same time, the rare reps where you saw where they both ended up at the same location when the coach broke his route off, the guy that was already in his zone turn ended up a little bit behind the guy who was square, still maintaining his back pedal. In the last few years, I've softened my stance on the speed pedal in allowing too much cushion, in allowing too much to occur in front of me and at the intermediate level. So I've actually decreased the amount of speed pedal that we utilize to put ourselves in closer proximity and better shape to drive on a curl or drive on a dig and open at the last second to go with the vertical route, as opposed to trying to work that speed pedal all the way back 20 yards from the line of scrimmage and giving up curls and throws in front of us that we don't have a window player, an underneath zone player to help us on.
All right, Coach. That's a lot of information, good information. I appreciate you coming on. I mean, you guys have, you particular, Coach Rhoads, you've been there for us since day one, and I remember you were generous with your time. We went out, you were with your last stop, and always appreciate that. Always ready to talk ball with us, and it's been a pleasure spending some time with you. Appreciate you coming on today. I know a lot of these guys got a lot of stuff out of it, so I know everybody's busy, and appreciate you, and what you guys are doing down in Tucson is awesome.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you, men. Thank what you do for these young people. We all know, what they do have and what they don't have in their lives, and the fact that you guys are in their lives, especially with the quarantine and some of the idle time that they have on their hands, and giving them direction. Obviously, we're talking to them because we're recruiting them, and we know what you're doing with them, and the fact that they're getting that guidance and that leadership and that mentorship from you is so important to their lives. This has been a crazy year where you haven't been able to get down to Tucson to visit us, but I want you to know our doors are open in the future. Not going to happen this fall, I would suspect, as we both get back to work, but please, in the off season, in the winter and the spring, please reach out and don't hesitate to come down to Tucson and spend some time with us here at the University of Arizona.
Will do, Coach. Thanks for the invite. I'm sure a lot of guys want to take you up on it. Appreciate your time, Coach. Again, thank you very much for coming on and talking ball with us.
You got it.
Have a great day. Thank you.